You got challenges that you're going to run across.
What do you think you learned from the NFL that made you feel like you could coach?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I learned, and learned this from some veteran guys, older guys. When I first got to the NFL, you always had guys. To me, just most guys that make it to an NFL training camp, they're good enough. They're good enough, but it's only so many spots. It's a numbers game.
Right.
Well, and some guys get caught up in that. Like I've seen young guys come in and they start doing the math and counting. They're like, well, they're only going to keep 5 cornerbacks, or they're only going to keep 4 safeties. So, man, I'm not going to make the team. You know,
mentally they already out of it.
And so they don't physically walk away from the team, but they mentally check out.
Yeah.
You know, and they stop really like locking in and studying and focusing. And so to me, they cut themselves.
Right.
And one thing I learned from the NFL is don't cut yourself. And the older guys used to say to the young guys, they say, look, hey, man, do the best you can do. Prepare as hard as you can during the week, and then go out and play as hard as you can play. And if it's not good enough, there's 31 other teams out there.
Yeah.
31 others. And so I can remember a couple guys. I played with a guy in Cincinnati. He gets cut from the Bengals. He goes to Denver, wins the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Same year he gets cut from us. He goes to Denver, wins the Super Bowl. Same thing. I'm in Washington. Guy got cut from us, goes to New England to the Patriots, wins the Super Bowl. So that's how I look at. Don't cut yourself. So in coaching, for me, I'm always going to do the best job I can do. And if it's not good enough, then, hey, you learn from it and you move on, and the thing about coaching, sometimes if it's not good enough, then you do have to move on. But there are other teams out there.
Prime said you either
he said you're either being terminated or elevated.
Elevate,
yeah. So that's what I took from the NFL. So I don't get caught up in, especially when, I've coached high school ball and, even college, but you have a lot of parents that, feel a certain way about their kids. And then you just have people that think they know the game, that don't really know the game. And so I don't listen to the outside noise and all that type of stuff. I tell my coaches, if they're not in here every day watching film and at practice with you, why are you listening to them? They don't know the team like you know the team. They don't know the players the way you know the players.
So let's talk about Briarwood. Then was it Cleveland next, or was it Georgia State?
Well, my oldest son actually, when I moved to Birmingham, just kind of an interesting deal.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I wanted to coach. Never thought I wanted to teach and coach. I got a finance degree from Alabama. Thought out the football, I'd go into business. Didn't know if I'd go into banking or whatever. Or I actually got my insurance license when I first got out of football here in Birmingham, and kind of dibbled and dabbled in that. But my oldest son was playing football at a school called Briarwood Christian. It's a private school. And so a friend of mine was coaching there, a buddy of mine from Alabama. So he got me to volunteer coach. And so I actually did it with my oldest son team. He was in middle school, did 9th grade, did varsity. And next thing you know, a guy by the name of Pat Sullivan, who we talked about earlier, who had recruited me to Auburn, we had a great relationship. And this, Pat Sullivan's actually from West End, was supposed to go to West End High School.
Right.
But went to John Carroll. But
right.
He called me up, had me come over, talk to me a little bit. He had been kind of following me, since I started coaching high school ball, and basically offered me a job coaching defensive backs. And so, I went from, the high school level to college, and the rest was kind of.
Was your son playing then when you coached the defensive backs?
Well, actually, my oldest son was actually a linebacker. He played running back and linebacker. So I wasn't really coaching him per se.
But he was there.
He was there, but I went to Sanford. I actually went to Sanford. I was at Sanford a year before he came. So he actually, I was
wait. Well, okay, I thought it was Briarwood first.
Right, but my son, when I took the Sanford job, he was still in high school.
That's where you okay.
He was still in high school. He didn't come till later.
Okay.
He came over later.
So you were at Sanford 4 years?
I was at Sanford seven and a half years.
Wow. The classic game, Alabama State A&M. That's a big game every year in Birmingham.
Big game.
Yep.
Huge.
But I remember your senior year. You remember what the big game was? Because I saw you at the game. I didn't go to the classic. I went to another game.
Oh, you talking about Sanford and Alcorn State?
Alcorn with Steve McNair. Because it was packed out at Legion Field and it was packed out at Stanford. And they went into halftime. Alcorn was down by 30-some points, right?
That's right.
And McNair came back and they tied. I think the game was a tie. It ended in a tie, right?
I can't recall. I know they came back. I know McNair. That was the largest game at Sanford. Probably in their history. Man, that was a huge game.
That game was packed out, but they went. Alcorn went in at halftime down like 30-0. And Al McNair came out that second half, man, and he lit them up, boy. He came out. I mean, I want to say the game ended 36-36 or something like that. I'm about to Google it and check it out.
Number 30, Jabbar Jalil. That's strong turkey, number 3. At corner, number 44, Jerry Wilson. At corner, 10, Raymond Harvey. Get up, we right here. And on offense. Get up. Sit on the championship. 1, 2, 3, defense championship. 1, 2, 3, defense championship.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.